guys, it's Kaz here. It's a new month, so of course it's time for Scrabble TBR. This is a TBR game that I started a few years ago, stopped doing it for a while, but it is back. I did it in January and obviously I'm doing it again in February. Before we even get started, apologies for the massive Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, how rude. But anyway, the way this game works, I pick out 7 tiles out of the Scrabble bag because that's how many you get in the game, and then pick books based on the tile. It has to start with that letter. There are a few other bits in here, so there are also some dice involved. So we have a D8. I roll this to decide how many of the tiles I actually have to pick for. Obviously there's 8 here, I'm picking 7 tiles, so if you was here last month you would have seen I got 8, which meant I had to add another one on. But this is just so I can put other stuff on my TBR and whatnot. And then the second one is a D4, and we roll this to pick out scrolls. What are scrolls, I hear you ask? Why, that would be these, of course. These are just a bunch of books that have been on my TBR for ages, so I pick out however many I roll for, and then that's what I also have to read. If the title goes with one of the tiles, then that's a bonus. So yeah, let's get to picking the tiles, and then we'll do the rolls, and then we'll figure out what the hell the TBR is going to be for February. Here's the bag. Give them a little shake, and let's pick out our 7 tiles. Also, there are 2 blank tiles in here, so if I get that, then I can choose whatever. Pretty self-explanatory. It doesn't happen very often, but let's go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's dig deep. 7. So our tiles are, the first one is an A, the next one is an N, then we have an O, we have a U, a C, that's the wrong way up, isn't it? Yeah, a C, another O, and finally a Z. What? And then of course I like to just play what word would I put down if I was playing Scrabble, and this one's quite obvious. Of course, if I was opening, I would put down zoo. The opening word gets double points, so this one would be 24 points. So next up, the rolls. What am I going to have to be choosing? So I have my D8 and my D4. Let's get rolling. So for the D8 I got a 6, which means I need to read 6 of the 7 letters. And the D4 I rolled a 3, which means I have to pick 3 things out of this bowl to read. So let's just do that right now. The colours mean nothing, I just wrote stuff down. So first one, we have Swimming to Freedom. Next one, oh, one just jumped out onto the floor, so that must be the right one. This purple one, that is You Don't Know Jack. And finally we'll pick a different colour for no reason, they don't mean anything, but we've got this green one, and this one is Afterlove, which I did actually have on my TBR for January and didn't get to, so there we go. I definitely am going to read it in February. Perfect. So as you saw, I have 6, not going to lie, potentially the Z is what I'm not going to use. We'll see what books I have. And then I picked out 3 from the scrolls, so whilst I'm figuring out what the crap I'm going to read, here's a message from the spons, and then I'll be back with all of the books. Okay guys, that took me way too long to figure out, and it wasn't even the Z either, it was the O's. But anyway, I'll start from the beginning. First of all, the 3 books that I pulled out of my little scrolls. So first up I have Swimming to Freedom by Robbie Michaels. This one and the next one are both indie published LGBT based books. This is about a guy who likes swimming, but then his dad's really aggressive about it because he wants him to be in the Olympics, so then he like makes it not fun anymore. And then he finds out he's gay and kicks him out and he's living under a bridge. So it seems like there's going to be a lot going on in this thin book. But potentially harrowing things. And you know what I'm feeling about harrowing this year. And then the next one is You Don't Know Jack by MC Lee. This is the first book in a series, and it's about this dude who is like works for this secret society and he's a spy, and then he has to go to this school where his name is now Jack and spy on this one guy, but then he starts developing feelings for the guy. I don't know why he's spying on him, what the guy is needing to be spied on about. But yeah, it's a series. I've got the next, well, I think I've got book 2 and then randomly like book 4 or 5. We shall see. Anyway, boom, the next one. And then the last one, which also works with one of my tiles, is After Love by Tanya Byrne. This one was on my January TBR as well. I just didn't get to it. It's fine. I don't do punishments or any of that jazz. But this is about a girl and another girl, and one of them dies, but then she can see her, and then other stuff. That's what I know. I should read it. I really should. In fact, I really should, because it's actually on my 2024 TBR, so I need to read it. It's also sapphic. But yeah, that goes for the A tile as well. So in order of how easy it was for me to find, next up for the tile for you, I have the unwritten On to Genesis. This is volume 5 of the unwritten, and I've literally just seen that it's called On to Genesis, so I literally could have used this for O, and it took me about 20 years to find an O book. So yeah, but it's happened now. We're fine. I first read this, the first volume, many years ago, and then I reread it in January, and I've read volume 2 and 3 in January as well, so volume 4 makes sense. This is a story about this guy whose dad was an author. He wrote this big fantasy epic series and then he went missing. But the guy's name is the same name as the main character, so everyone's like, oh, you are him, you are Tommy. And then it's like this crazy fantastical thing where like words can be things, and there's like this society that's after him, and it goes into a lot of crazy stuff, so in the best possible way. And then I'll just show you the artwork, because I always do when we're in this sort of stuff. Let's go towards the beginning, hopefully there's nothing too spoilery. This is the sort of artwork in here. Genuinely can't believe I didn't look at the title of this, On to Genesis. I looked at other things I haven't read in my graphic novels, like, oh, I've not read Rat Queens volume 5 yet, I wonder what that's called. Didn't actually look at this. It starts with an O, I can't believe it. Anyway, the next one. Circe by Madeline Miller. This is for C, obviously, and this one is on my 2024 TBR, so boom, get some off every month, so I'm not reading loads at the end. This is about Circe, who is, I want to say, a Greek thing, but that might be wrong, but I think it's not wrong. In the house of Helios, god of the sun, the mightiest of the titans, and then other words. So yeah, I absolutely adore The Song of Achilles, and I've had this for way too long. I need to read it. So hopefully I actually do. Next up for N, I actually have 2 choices here. I don't know which one I'm going to pick, but when I looked on my spreadsheet, these were the only 2 books I haven't read that starts with N, apart from stuff that starts with the something with N. But these are like the only 2 that are just N, and that is Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo and Nevernight by J. Kristoff. I don't know which one I'm going to read. They're both fantasy. They're not massive. They're both like a decent amount of pages, but not massive. They both seem to have a tiny similar sort of vibe. So in this one, it's like at a church, learning how to fight and doing stuff, and this one is at a school, but both of them, like, dead stuff happens. But this is more like secret society school-esque, and this is more Fantasyland-esque. I don't know. But if you've got any idea which one I should read, then let me know. Obviously I want to read both of them at some point, but I don't know which one I'm going to choose. Genuinely, no idea. One of these, anyway. So, next of all, I said earlier on that Z was probably going to be the one that I wasn't going to choose, and then I remembered how hard it is to find books beginning with an O. So, I have Zombieland. This one is actually volume 5. I have already read this before, but I found somewhere online, I googled it, I had a little look, that I can carry on the series. It's really hard to get these. Like, the first 5 volumes I managed to get pretty cheap, but now it's just like super hard to get them. They must just not exist a lot in England. But yeah, I found somewhere online to read this, so I'm going to read volume 6 of Zombieland. Potentially might have to reread some of these because it's literally been several years because I've been waiting and can't find them anywhere. So I might have to reread this one, all of them, I don't know. Anyway, this is a manga about a girl who has like a near-death experience, and then instead of dying she becomes a part of this like group of people who can see when someone's going to turn into a zombie. They have this black line around their neck, and then they have to like stop them before they become a zombie and all that jazz. So yeah, it's been so long since I read this, so I do think I probably should reread these. But yes, it will be good because it will also be a series that I can actually continue and like get further in. Because this one has just been sat on my series I need to read list for so long because it's so hard to get. But yeah, because I found it online, I am going to read it there, and hopefully we'll see, because there are, I don't know how many books are in this series, but potentially get through all of them. Probably not this month, but because I know somewhere now I can actually get them, I can finish this series finally. And then when I was looking for an O, I looked at all my shelves. I own one book that starts with an O, but later on in the year, one of the buzzwordathon prompts is the word only, and like that book starts with the word only, and it's the only book I own that's an O, and it's got only, so I kind of don't want to pick that one. But I literally looked through all my Kindle, looked through all the books that I've got on my library app that I want to read. I looked through the books that I got from my library the other day. What are books beginning with O? I couldn't figure one out. I was like, shall I reread something? Can I try find something random? But then, because of Zombieland, I thought, hang about, Our Dreams at Dusk. Could I possibly find this also somewhere for me to be able to read it? This, again, is a manga, and then it's really hard to get the rest of the volumes because they're super expensive, because they must just not be in wide circulation over here. And yes I can. So again, I might reread this one because it has been a while, because it's another one of those ones I started and then I couldn't carry on because it's just so hard to get. But this, I think, I don't know if it's actually finished, but I think there's only 4 volumes of this one, so I might actually be able to like finish this whole series up. We shall see. I'm just adding more and more books onto myself, but we shall see. But yes, finally an O. I say finally, the first book I looked at, The Unwritten, can't believe it's actually beginning with an O after all of that effort. You don't know how long has been in between these two gaps, I tell you. But yes, talking about the buzzword readathon, February. The book is Positive Words. I've not actually looked. Have I got anything on here for positive words first and foremost? Let me just look. Freedom? Freedom's a pretty positive word. So maybe I'll read Swimming to Freedom for the buzzword readathon for February. That was easy. I thought I was going to have to add something else on. Dreams possibly is a positive word. Our Dreams at Dusk. We shall see. But yes, there's one that actually does fit. Freedom. Freedom's a positive word. So there we go. That is my TBR for February. One of these. I don't know which one yet. We shall see. But yeah, hopefully going to be a good time. Let me know down below what you guys are reading. If you've read any of these, which one shall I read first? If you have a preference between the 2 books beginning with an N, which one is your preference? Because it might help me decide, because I genuinely don't know which one yet. So yeah, let me know down below. Do the things if you want, also there. Doing the subscribe if you want, comment if you want, like if you want. Only if you want though. And I will be back in a few days with another video.